I know you're scared right now. You don't need to pretend. I can see you trembling. You don't know why I brought you here, but you know the answer can't be a good one. And you're right. It's not. You really thought you had it all figured out, have you? That you knew everything, knew every combination in the deck. And it would thrill you every time you were right, when the hand came down in a familiar pattern, a familiar story. About an outsider who can see the good in all of us. About how we all have the power to fight what is right. Or how we can each overcome our darkest moments. But this is different from any of those stories. There are familiar parts, but they're all in the wrong places. And there's nothing more frightening than when all the cards lay out on the table just right, but then another card comes and changes the meaning of the entire hand. And there is no possible way to know what's gonna happen next. And this is where my story begins. Oh, come on! You have to get into the spirit of this thing to make it right. The drugs are only interfering with your body, after all, not your mind. I made sure of that. There we go. Look, I know this must be very hard on you. It's hard on both of us. Do you have any idea how many charts you need to coordinate the systematic killing of an entire city? I guess you wouldn't, because that's your one line, isn't it? Killing. You and your pals. Like good old Jim Gordon, right to the end. I'd heard him shout it over the radio, over and over. By the book, bring him in by the book. But when I finally got to him, he understood. I saw it on his face, his eyes. Right before I dissolved him, I mean. He called for his daughter last, you know. Hard to hear as his jaw was melting. Bah, bah, bah. I saved the pipe for you, though. Still warm. You see, Bats, we're running out of time, you and I. We need to evolve, and fast, or we'll miss our chance. There is no by the book anymore, at least for now. I threw the damn thing out. Burnt it, at least until they get a new one. Every story, every character, one by one, all the cops, all the villains, looking for that breaking point. And that breaking point is the joke too far. And it has to exist, Brucey. I know it does. Do you know? Well, it doesn't matter anyway, because tonight I'm going to tell it. I'll shout it out from the damn rooftops. Can you hear me, Batman? Can you? Oh dear, what's this now? A lovely young family heading back from the theater. Oh, and I know exactly what's going to happen next. Don't be afraid. You don't need your mommy and daddy anymore. I'll tell you what. I'm going to make you the first citizen of a brand new Gotham, one made from the best of him and the best of me. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Now bring on the next family and the next, and keep them coming. Our line for his line. And here we go. Joker, stop this now! Never. Stop! Stop! No, I'll keep... Stop it! I'll keep coming this way now. Stop! Your family next. No, you'll stop. Never! You still don't have the guts, Bruce, do you? No. It's going to be you and me forever! Stop. Stop. He was dying, Clark. The chemicals that made him the Joker, they were starting to eat him away from the inside. That's what pushed him to take things so far. Why he pushed me. Are you alright? If you're asking whether I'm going to slide down the slippery slope, no. I'm not sorry he's dead, but I won't give him the satisfaction of becoming what he wanted me to be. That's all I need to hear, Bruce. Listen, I've spoken to Star Labs in Metropolis about taking the children in, with Arkham destroyed and the GCPD in ruins. It seems the least we can do. He said he wanted to make something new out of the best of both of us. My trauma and his, blended together. They might be beyond saving, Clark. There's no way I can believe that. No one is beyond saving. I'll be administering their treatment myself. They need to deal with someone they can't hurt. A psychologist spoke to one of them this afternoon, and she tried to bite her throat out. I'm sorry. That wasn't funny. Something's wrong. Talk to us, Bruce. We're family. You're right, Dick. I've been stalling, but there's no hiding from the truth. When I killed the Joker, I was infected with a new strain of nanotoxin, unlike anything I've seen before. It was there all along, in his heart, more virulent than anything he'd ever unleashed, trapped in his cells, harmless, unless for one thing. That's right, Barbara. He died. As soon as a necrosis hit, the toxin was released, just enough to infect one person in close proximity. Bruce. It's been at work for nearly a week, rewiring my mind to make it more like his. If the process is allowed to run its course, I'll have the same highly ordered mind I've always had, with the moral core replaced with something evil. It was his last wish, that whoever kills the Joker will become another one. Have you told anyone else? No, I want to be sure, Tim. I confirmed my suspicions earlier tonight, and called all of you here. The training. It wasn't for the usual villains, was it? You were making sure we were ready to fight you. God, Bruce, we're not going to fight you. We're going to help you somehow. Maybe Barbara and I will find a cure at the Phantom Zone. No, that won't work. Then we'll find another way. Look, we were trained by the world's greatest detective. None of us are going to rest until you're put right. And if you're worried about the city, we'll work in shifts, helping them through the chaos post-Joker. No, you don't understand. Of course we do. This is just one of Joker's games. But this one is the last. You prepared us for this. I know. That's why I brought you here. Well then, we're here to help. No, not to help, Jason. I brought you here because the four of you would notice something was wrong with me before anyone else would. And I am sorry, but I cannot allow that. Bruce? What are you doing? Something you weren't prepared for. I've been thinking about the last few days. About the man I was. I just walked through the Justice League trophy room, and it struck me how many weapons we've gathered over the years. I remember how I justified bringing them here. You thought they should be destroyed, but I pushed. I wanted to know how they work. And I do. I know how to operate doomsday machines that could level cities in seconds. They used to keep me up at night, but I didn't know why. Now that my mind's been put right, I finally understand. It's just so simple. Bruce. I wanted to use them, Clark. I wanted to use each and every one of them. But why? Why have you done this? The same reason. Because I want to. Because I don't have to hold back anymore. Hell, I'm disappointed I only get to do this once. Do you realize how many ways I know how to kill you? The people, they'll see what you are. They'll fight back. They better. What fun would it be if they didn't fight back? Lois. John. Why don't you pull out that old Superman magic? Puff out that old chest of yours and tell your wife and son that it's going to be alright. That the good guys are going to win in the end. Your voice. You. Forget it! I won't cheapen what I stand for. I won't lie to my family for your own gain. Aw, that's okay. You can always lie to mine. Father, can I play with John now? You'll play with him in a moment, Damien. The grown-ups are talking. You did this to your own son? It only took a little push, and he did it to himself. Gave me the idea for what I'm going to do to you. Allow me to introduce you to a modified strand of black kryptonite. When I tested it on Supergirl, she ripped her family apart right before it killed her. I know I won't be the one to kill your family. Catch. Lois, stand back!